Good morning, I'm Hamish McLaughlin and welcome to a very special edition of Game Day. Well, over the last 7 months, 16 teams have been whittled down to just 2. And in about 5 hours' time, 44 players will come out into this spectacular Coliseum in front of 100,000 people and play the grand final everyone wanted to see. Geelong versus Hawthorn. It's the champs versus the challengers. And as we count you down to the bounce, over the next 3 hours, I'm going to be joined by the who's who of sport and entertainment in this country. Olympic gold medalists, premiership players, Brownlow medalists and rising stars as we bring you all of the colour and the excitement of the last Saturday in September. It's grand final day and it's here on 7. Let's get it started. Joining us on our special 3-hour grand final edition of Game Day, triple premiership heroes Jason Ackermanis and Tim Watson. And premiership players for the Crows, Mark Rasciuto. Up north, Sydney's Ty Connelly. And from the west, Daniel Kerr and Ben Cousins. We'll look back at the season that was and we'll argue who took the biggest grab.
Yeah, Lord!
And who kicked the most miraculous goal.
And Ben's kicks a miracle goal.
Neil Kearney will drop in and he'll bring us all of the colour and the characters of the big day. Dale Lewis and Rebecca Madden will have TV stars, rock stars and Olympic champions at our live site. And don't worry if you can't get to the G, because you won't miss a thing on the grand final edition of Game Day. Well, good morning, everyone. Wonderful shots of the MCG from the Eureka Tower. It is the last Saturday in September, and there's plenty to get excited about. It's Geelong versus Hawthorn, and you can see it is a perfect day for football here in Melbourne. The MCG has opened its gates, and the fans are coming in. There's already a game going on behind us. It is an extraordinary day for football. It is one of the great days of sport in this country. Great to have your company this morning, and welcome to the MCG for the first time today. Over the next 3 hours, I'll be joined by some of the game's very best that amount to 19 premierships and 5 Brownlow medals. The first all-star lineup is with me, and it's headed by best and fairest and 2000 grand final player David Schwartz.
Hello, Hamish.
Ox, great to have you company.
Pleasure to be here, and the crowd, and we saw the grand final parade yesterday. If that's anything to go by, Victoria is alive here, and so is Australian rules football. It's just a magnificent day, beautiful weather. Gee, you couldn't ask for much more. The
last time 2 Melbourne sides were in a grand final, it was in 2000. You played. It was a rough and tumble affair. And just like this year, there was one side that had one loss for the year only.
Yes, and look, 2 Victorian sides for the first time since this game. I think we're going to see a big effort here this afternoon. There's just
James Hird. No wonder he doesn't want to come back and play football. You absolutely pulverised the old man.
I did love Macho Man growing up, so love the old wrestling moves.
In the middle of the panel today, a man that's played on this ground 4 times, 3 premierships and a Brownlow medal, Jason Ackermanis. Wonderful to have your company today.
Yeah, good morning, Hamish. I'm still alive, which is a great thing for everyone.
It's been a big week for you. Adam Kearney will be dropping in the show later, but the grand final stage you thrived on. 5 goals in 1, unlucky not to win a Norm Smith and another.
Stiff.
And in 2002 you kicked the goal of the year, but there's a goal coming up here that might well have just been right
this
here,
one, yeah,
the goal of your life to win a granny.
My right groin was torn off the bone. I'm so glad that went through, because my left foot was almost gone as well. But so many memories here, and we're going to see a lot of memories and hopefully some history today. It should be a ripping day. Beautiful weather.
Well, you sound like you've had an enormous week. And Game Day's most prized possession, one of the country's leading AFL journalists. Mark Robertson, great to have you on the show today. We've got some vision here. You've been talking with the very biggest stars this week. You've caught up with Luke Hodge and Buddy Franklin. It's a journo's dream.
Yes, it is. I mean, Luke Hodge and Buddy Franklin, 2 of my favourite players, and that's, I think, a lot of people love those 2. But it's probably the most highly anticipated game of football or grand final we've had for many, many years. Lots been said, guys, this week about 1989, but there's a lot of buzz in the air. There's going to be a million subplots today. It always happens in a game of football, but there's a couple of players I'm really looking forward to. One is, of course, Lance Franklin. The other one is Gary Ablett. I really want to see Lance Franklin turn it on today.
Boys, it's like Christmas Day for adults. It's very, very exciting. The 2 captains today, Sammy Mitchell and Tom Harley. Any more pressure on those boys?
Look, I don't... obviously, leading your club out is very important, and I was actually lucky enough to catch up with Sammy Mitchell at the grand final parade. I don't think I've ever seen a calmer captain in all my life. He was just composed, along with Alistair Clarkson. They looked like they had nothing to worry about, that everything was planned, they were ready to go, and there was no, the expectations on them wasn't burning them at all. It was quite refreshing to see a young bloke with all the calmness that you can imagine.
Well, okay, behind us are the under-16s. You can probably hear the action on the ground behind us. It's the first of the 2 curtain raisers. It's the finals of the NAB National Under-16 Championships, and playing is the Division 2 Grand Final between Tasmania and the Northern Territory. And following this game, we'll see the Western Australian side taking on Vic Metro. Yeah. An enormous amount of talent out there, Acco. By all reports, Jack Darling and Brandon Materia from the West are beautifully bred and good types of WA. And this afternoon, Thomas Liberatore, Tony's son, will be playing. It's a nice way to start your career out here on Grand Final Day. Oh,
what a thrill for these young guys. I mean, they're 16. They're playing on the greatest stadium to play ever. They have got their teammates. They want to play AFL footy and to be on the big stage. And I can see up there a couple of recruiters from Hawthorn having a look at these guys, and it's a wonderful opportunity. And I think, you know, it's only 2 years and we're going to see these guys in the draft and on the list.
Okay. They won't be drafted to 2010, Robbo. We've got to take a break. It's a very exciting day on the Australian sporting calendar. When we come back, we'll have a look at how the 2 teams progressed to the grand final.
Pretty tight down here, actually. We've been through a lot of hard times to get to where we are.
Humility is a great thing, and
that's brought us closer together.
I think we just all work hard for each other.
Guys in the side are just willing to play their roles, and everyone just goes out there to do their job.
We play well as a team. We, you know, we really go out there to look after each other. We're all about the team. We're all about the team.
Welcome back to the grand final edition of Game Day, live from the MCG. Time now to cross out to the very glamorous Becca Madden, who has the ex-Sydney Swan, Dale Lewis, with her riding shotgun all day. Good morning, guys. You're going to have some fun out there in the lifestyle.
Oh, we certainly are. Good morning to you, Hamish, and good morning, guys. I was going to say, look what comes out of the Woodworth Grand Final Day, all the way from South Australia, huh?
Oh, gee, thanks, Rebecca. Can I just identify now? Rebecca Guy says that she's a Mad Cats fan. I spotted her at the merchandise booth earlier this morning buying this scarf.
That is not true. You're the one who's troubled today, I must admit. Sydney Swans, now you're on the Hawks today.
No, barrack for the Hawks until I got drafted to go to Sydney, so I have reciprocal rights here, OK?
Can I just set the record straight from the outset? I actually moved back to Geelong last year. That's how much of a dedicated Cats fan I am, so I want no ribbing today.
To lie on national TV with your mother watching, Rebecca, what will you want? What will you not do?
My mum lives in Geelong too. Hi, Mum.
Stop it. Hey, we're going to have lots of fun out here today, aren't we?
We are. We've got some great guests. We've got none other than the great man himself, Ron Barassi. Now, that's going to be pretty interesting for you, Dale.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't tell too many stories about when he coached us. I was the one who used to say gave him the white moustache. Can you believe that? Me, of all people.
What other stories are we going to get from the locker room?
No, nothing. What happens in Sydney stays in Sydney. And Barassi's getting old. I don't think he can remember all the stories.
And we've also got an Olympic gold medalist here today with us, the none only than Steve Hooker. So that should be great. So we'll see you a little bit later on, Hamish.
Thanks, Beck. You've never looked better. 3 votes for you, I'd think. Louis in very good company. Over the next 3 hours, we're going to look back at the season and break it down into quarters. Round 1 started back in March, and it started here at the MCG.
Easter weekend, the start of the new season, and Carlton hail the Messiah. Hallelujah. The would-be saviour has the first touch of the season, but it's Richo who does the rejoicing. Brown, Franklin, Lloyd and Rocker all boot 6 in the first round.
Anthony Rocker jumps onto the crowd.
And Brendan Favola hits the target from close range. For this cameo, Carlton banishes Favola to the last chance saloon. A win in his first game, and Matthew Knights is thinking, how easy is this coaching caper? The Bulldogs kick off with a dream 300th for Brad Johnson, and a cordial welcome to footy from one Brown to another. 2 men fighting above their weight, Jake King and Brent Harvey spend most of round 2 in loving embrace. Buddy Franklin begins his season by bringing commentators to tears.
And skills like that can make a grown man cry.
And skills like this would make any mere mortal cry.
It would be interesting to get the IQ of his feet. He's got the cleverest feet in the AFL.
In round 3, a poke in the eye for Acker as the Bulldogs stage a 75-point turnaround to give Rodney Eade a songful 50th.
I'm not going to talk about the decisions from umpires.
Well, just don't mention the umps. They do enough talking themselves.
50, no, that's okay, Paul. Get up, Paul. There wasn't much in that, mate.
Everyone had plenty to talk about in round 4. We shouldn't have rung that bell.
The ball hauls. Oh, Barry Hall has whacked behind play. That is ridiculous, Barry Hall.
Big bad boxing Barry's brain snap caused a hurricane of hyperbole and some heartfelt hypocrisy. Everyone disapproved. Barry Hall got a stern talking to and 7 weeks. And he lost on a TKO against the fence. Meanwhile, a knockout for Carlton supporters. After a club record equalling 14 straight losses, they toppled the old enemy as Favola slots 7. Carlton even remember the club song.
Well, we hadn't heard that song for a very long time. Over 300 days, they were singing it in the first 5 rounds of the year. Boys, plenty of underachievers. The Dogs were overachievers. Port, I think you said, Robbo, were the best Norton 4 side in the land. Barry Hall sent Staker into oblivion. What were the highlights?
Well, the highlights... some of the biggest action footage we've ever seen is Barry Hall hitting Brent Staker. I mean, that's going to go down in the history books, and I can't remember a punch like it in everything I've seen. So that was a highlight, low light, let's be honest. But the Bulldogs, the Western Bulldogs, for me, they had a very, very good year with yourself, Acker, and Ox. Let's be honest, you were an assistant to the forwards coach, and your job cannot be underestimated.
Integral, I would have thought, Ox. Acker, were you surprised when you got off to such a flyer? Jono saved you in this 300th, kicked 3 in the last 3 minutes against the Crows, but was an expectation you'd be flying?
Oh, look, a little bit, but, you know, those games could easily go the other way, and all of a sudden we lose the first game, and where's our season going from there? But Port come off the grand final the year before and were struggling. The WA teams were going backwards, but I thought our side has always had the talent. So to go 0-4, or just to start the way we did, was just the perfect way to get back from those 7 losses we had towards the end of last year.
I thought it was the emergence of Carlton. That first win against Collingwood got them up and going, and all of a sudden we thought, hang on, Bryce Gibbs might be okay, and he might come on a lot quicker with Brendan Favola kicking goals, Chris Judd leading the way. I reckon that was the first time they had true belief that they were actually a very good side.
Well, there's plenty of noise, plenty of colour. When we return on game day, the #1 draft pick, Brownlow medalist, he joins us, and we'll look at the second quarter of the season that included 2 draws, bewildered players, and the Hall of Fame game.
It's taking a while. It's as if Bernhard Langer's in the group ahead. Like a cork in the ocean. How about that, like a cork in the ocean? Umpire McLaren hit the deck.
He's tough.
He is. He bounced to his feet like a cork in the ocean. You've got to take your chances in this game. Never moon a werewolf. Comes back to bite you. And Gwilt, well, I reckon he prepared his hair especially for the matchup with Sandilands. Dare we say it, centimetre perfect. That's amazing. That is amazing. In the current vernacular, he's a stud burger. What do you say to the hairstylist? Give me an extra metre.
The heavyweights of the AFL looking on.
Steady.
Andrew Demetrio and Eddie Maguire there as well.
Doing comedy bucks.
Sort of.
Dennis, your position's safe, don't you worry.
The shortest kick in the history of humans. That is the fattest bit with the skinniest line in the history of humans.
I reckon we'll see a world record in the history of humans, Den.
Speak the same language, Bucks.
It looks good. It looks really good.
No.
That is special. Left foot. That is special.
Oh, that's ambitious. Well, that was ambitious. That's ambitious. That is ambitious. What are we watching? Even Michael Jackson would call this bizarre. There's got to like this term from him, Tim. Yes, Dennis.
Do you enjoy talking to yourself, Dennis?
Get a lot of practice at home, Bruce.
You never know who you might sit next to at the footy these days. As we see the Prime Minister enjoying that too. As sheikhs and presidents mingled with the masses. This year they celebrate with the fans. There were 6 Tibetan swans and 3 brides for Rama.
What would 3 brides be doing at the footy?
Mr T cheered for the D's, and the bank robbers had their team. There was the crouching magpie and hidden tiger. Some couldn't look, while others couldn't see enough. We had jousters and jibers, streamers and floggers.
He knows some blokes that Dennis knows, I think.
Some got cranky. Others played hanky-panky under the blankie. There were those who looked the same. And those who looked like no other. Then there was Darwin.
And it's happened again.
Streaking capital of Australia.
Obviously, friends helping him with his exit.
A place where evading security is a popular pastime.
I pray you'll be
Hallelujah. At Carlton, they had the ultimate faith in their saviour.
forever and ever. Hallelujah.
But Richo didn't quite instil the same confidence at Tigerland.
You'll see the fans there, not exactly confident.
Welcome back to the MCG. You're watching the grand final edition of Game Day. Well, 72 hours proved a very long time in football. Curtains on Friday night at the hands of the Cats, and then on Monday night he was crowned top dog and Brownlow medalist. A very, very big welcome and congratulations to Adam Kearney.
Yeah.
He said it was a wonderful speech on Monday night, but surely you couldn't have expected the couple of years you've had. 112 games and a Brownlow medal, finals for the Dogs. It's been a very, very big time for you.
Yeah, it's been a massive year and had a lot of good personal things happen as well. Got engaged and had a little boy. So, yeah, it's been a massive year.
The engagement probably ranks second behind the child. The burger ring story we'll get to, but did it live up to all expectations on Monday night? Was something that was surreal and you really couldn't get your head around?
Yeah, look, I still really haven't got my head around it. I haven't had time, actually. I've been flat out doing a lot of media commitments this week, but yeah, it's something very, very unexpected, and if I sort of knew that I was any sort of chance, I might have stopped drinking earlier in the night.
And your fiancée didn't actually believe you when you rang to tell her, is that right? When you were talking about it all?
Oh, no,
your mum?
Mum, yeah. Mum was, she was watching the count, but unfortunately she had to go to work, so she was a bit flat with me that I said I was disappointed in her when she read it in the paper, so, yeah.
Curtains, the question that everyone wants to know, have you spoken to Nana?
Yeah, I have spoken to Nana. I caught up with her. Actually spoke to her on radio a couple of days after, and I couldn't get a word in. So once Nana gets going, she's hard to stop.
The other big question is, are your teammates upset that I'm your favourite player to play with of all time? Are they upset?
Especially being only 1 year into the game, Mac. It's yeah, you've taken over pretty quickly.
I know it's been easy, but I mean I love working with you.
What's he like to play with though, Kearney? Honestly, is he what we see? Is he that lovable, jovial type of person?
Yeah, he pretty much is what you see with what you get with Axe. So he doesn't pull too many punches, but generally not a bad sort of fella.
Enough about Acker. He's already won his Brownlows and he won his premierships. Adam, one of the best things I heard, and it wasn't great news for you, is when I found out you had a fractured kneecap. I'd watched you play all the year, and I wanted you to be right for finals. And when I found out you had your fractured kneecap, I thought, well, there's an excuse, because this kid has had such a great year, and a couple of those last final games, you couldn't quite get to the level that you want. I don't want you to give us excuses, but that is just a fact.
Yeah, it was obviously really disappointing that I suppose wasn't 100% going into the Sydney game, and I think it happened, yeah, sometime against Hawthorn, and probably didn't have enough power in my legs to be able to play my normal role, so sort of changed up roles, played a different role against Sydney, and then another one against Geelong.
You have to have an operation, sorry.
I was going to ask the same question. If you do win?
Next Thursday I go in, so...
How long is it? Is it a minor? Is it a fracture? Can you explain just very quickly what it is?
Look, it's just a minor fracture of the patella, and I think there's a little bit of bone that's broken off, so I've just got to get the bone removed.
Was there any chance of you not playing?
Nah, pretty much just... obviously, you can get jabs and stuff these days. So, I just had a couple of them, and yeah, they threw me out there.
Are you going to be okay? They're going to come back in pre-season. Would that be all right, or is it going to affect your pre-season?
Yeah, it's probably my off-season. It will affect. I probably won't be able to do any running for maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks. So, but I suppose once we get back into pre-season, I should be up and going, hopefully.
That's good
Well,
news.
Kearns, you're going to stay with us. The second quarter of the season saw the big V hit the MCG again. Kearns was playing for the Dream Team, and for only the first time this year, the Cats walked off with the ground without 4 points.
The Buddy Show rolls on.
Tough kick for the left footer, unless you are a genius.
And it wasn't so much that he kicked 8 goals against the Lions, it was how he did them.
That brings tears to your eyes.
Meanwhile, Favola kicks 7. And Richard is the everywhere man with another marathon effort. But Brian Lake takes the clutch mark.
I reckon he's faking this.
And Will Minson kicks the pressure goal.
What a night that is by Medhurst again. He's on fire.
Paul Medhurst gets the Anzac medal in a 73-point flogging for the Bombers. Freo up by 39 points against the Cats, but they blow it. After this poster by Matthew Pavlich, Geelong wins by a point. Controversy as the Swans and Roos fight out a draw.
There's a Nathan Brown reaction.
The Swans fined 50 grand for having 19 men on the ground for 30 seconds. It's not Melbourne's year, but they will remember round 7. From 51 points down, the biggest comeback in Melbourne's history. At the Hall of Fame match, the Vics stick it up 'em in front of almost 70,000. And Fev boots 6.
Not the fairy tale ending that I would have liked.
A proud farewell by David Neitz. And a cheeky gesture, which one Mark Williams thinks is funny, but his coach doesn't.
It's the quickest way that we found to find the exit door to our footy club.
Talking of chokes, the Dockers suffer yet another final quarter fade out, losing by 3 points to the Bulldogs. And Nick Malcheski comes back just 86 days after a knee reconstruction. In round 10, Carlton's cheer squad is reminded that it's only as good as its last banner. And the coaches have got the press box in their sights.
You're an experienced journalist. Why would you ask that question?
Oh, I couldn't give a stuff, but they wouldn't.
At least Richo can give us stuff. He just wants more of the pigskin. Round 11 sees another breathtaking run by Dale Thomas. A Buddy blitz.
Buddy's got 9.
Gary Ablett in awesome form and new hope for the Demons as Gentleman Jim takes over.
Melbourne Football Club has given me a great deal, and it's time I gave something back.
There's plenty going on in rounds 5 to 11. I think probably, Robo, my favourite part of that was the sledge from Chris Judd to Adam Selwood.
Oh, no doubt about that. Sledge of the year. Judd went back to the West Coast Eagles. It was another game that we were all looking forward to, and it didn't let us down. And what did he say? He said, had a go at Juddy's shoulders, and Juddy said, well, they're sore because I was carrying you blokes for 4 years. And the problem with that is it was probably true.
Aka, 2 draws in 2 weeks. You played in one of them at the Dome.
Well, it was heartbreaking in some ways, but I love when you play a game that's so close and so emotional and you're so flat when it's a draw and you see a couple of blokes carry on like they've just won and they've just realised that they haven't. Rawlings and Harvey in the game against Sydney and North Melbourne was hilarious. And our game, Robbo.
Nathan Brown.
That was hilarious.
And Ops, you've had about 46 knee ops. Malcheski, he returned after 91 days.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, freakish. And look, it took him a couple of weeks to get going, but revolutionary new technology with surgery. What's next? Kearns, you'll be back in 3 days. If yours just got a little fractured kneecap, you'll run it.
You can do it at quarter time and back for the second quarter.
Right.
Kearns, thanks for coming in. It's been a huge year for you, as you said. Engaged, children, Brownlow's finals, Dream Team.
Hammer, now, we've got some burger rings here, Hammer. Now, I know that you're in a relationship at the moment.
Just pretend. Go through it again. What did you do, Kearns? This is your lovely fiancé.
Because he's about to do this to Gian Rooney.
I close my eyes to imagine this one.
He's about to pop the question to Gian Rooney, he's Hamish, so he just needs to know how to do it.
This is exactly how it went down. I get it, and they said, there you go, Dale.
Very, very romantic. Thanks, Kearns, for coming in. Huge for you. We're after a break. When we return, we look at the third quarter of the season. Ask Aka why he said the Cats are arrogant, as well as Ben Cousins. He's coming up later in the show.
The grand final's about to start. The close for the first time. He gives it to Hinkley. He shoots the goal, and the Saints are on the ball. It's good. It's through. Jones, the length of the ground, nearly. Aussie Jones goes with the left, kicks it. What a goal! Got it. Well, we can go back and put him in front. They're in front. Jarman. Yes! 5 for the half.
Fans are starting to roll into this sporting colossus. It is the last Saturday in September. Jimmy number 3, Hawks fans starting to get wheeled in prams. They're coming to see the Buddy Show. It's a very, very, very exciting day. Welcome back to the grand final edition of Game Day, coming to you live from the MCG. The season started to heat up at the halfway point, and rounds 16 and 17 promised some of the long-awaited clashes of the Titans.
Unsettled conditions over the SCG. No wonder Barry Hall is back, and the Swans hand the Saints their 4th defeat in 5 weeks. Matthew Lloyd answers his critics in the Dons' victory over the Eagles. Nathan Brown celebrates the double century.
Nathan Brown of old!
Not so memorable for the Ups. But another boys' own adventure for Buddy. He's caught and on report in a win that's hard fought.
Can the skipper deliver?
Yes, he can. And so does Joel Bowden back from exile. He takes this mark to save the day against Port.
He's had his knockers.
The Dogs are on a roll.
They're up to second on the AFL ladder, the Bulldogs.
And the Kangas inflict only the 2nd defeat for the Hawks. Those storm clouds over Sydney have returned in round 14. Big Bad Barry loses the plot again and is suspended indefinitely.
It was the only decision that we could make as a football club.
The Cats devour the Crows. And does their coach like what he sees? Mark, how does this team compare to last year's?
Well, you shouldn't ask the question because we don't really want to compare to last year.
Those grumpy old coaches have got everyone jittery.
You right? You ready?
In close, mate. I won't bite you.
The Saints box is really heated, and lethal goes for the Doctor as the Lions surrender to the Demons by a point.
It's 50 because the Brisbane Doctor walked over the mark.
Melbourne breaks the league record for getting numbers around the song. By round 15, things couldn't get worse for the Crows. The team bus falls in a hole, and so does the Birdman. Docker Dean Solomon is contrite, and with good reason.
I want to apologise to Cameron Ling and the Geelong Football Club.
And at Carlton, Favola's post-match demeanour is called into question.
Don't look that worried about the loss, Fev. I don't like the look of that.
And things are looking ominous for the Lions.
You probably don't know what it's like to be on the end of that, do you, Vossi?
I've seen that a few times, and I'll tell you what, that's a rather scary prospect.
A new controversy in round 16 when Joel Bowden milks the clock for the Tigers to get home by 4 points. A week later, Bowden kicks 3 last quarter goals in a 3-point victory.
The Tigers do it!
And 86,000 see the Hawks go within 11 points of the Cats. Fans are thinking this would be a worthy grand final.
Brilliant. Virtuoso.
Very, very big clash, round 17, the grand final preview. But, Robbo, early on in that section of the season, a couple of big droppings that sent a message to players and the clubs got serious.
Yeah, they did. First dropping was his shade. I was dying over here, Acker, in the sun. I don't know if you noticed it.
Well, they bring in. They either said, put a hat on or put some cream on.
Jeez,
get some sunnies.
Wear a hat today, kids. It's going to get very hot here, 25. Yeah, they were 2 big droppings. Milne and Del Santo, probably been coming for a while with those two, and it happened and it really rejuvenated. But the bigger rejuvenates St Kilda. But the big one, guys, was Barry Hall after he returned from hitting Brent Staker. The club imposed a 2-week penalty on him and said, Barry, just go away and get your life together. There were stories of women and et cetera, and I don't know about you, Acker, but they could. I don't know if women can stuff up your life, Acker, can they or not?
Oh, they can.
Or they can make your life.
They can make it.
In your case, Acker.
They've ruined every great, empire ship going around, so we know what they're capable of, these women.
Okay, in the middle of the season, Mark Harvey said Freo were going to become dangerous. Dean Solomon might have just taken them a bit too literally.
Did he what? I tell you, it was one of the things that you love in the 80s, and just taking blokes out like Cameron Ling, who's been getting into blokes illegally for years, but he just can't do it today, and it was a stiff penalty. It was the end of his season. And there's rumours, Robbo, he wants to come back to Melbourne.
There's rumours he wants to come back to Western. I don't know if it's going to happen. At 28, I think Solly's future lies at Fremantle.
Well, and the biggest non-story was Mark Thompson eating sandwiches. Who cares? Who absolutely cares about a coach who eats in the box? Good luck to him.
Can't do anything these days.
Fair dinkum.
He's a super coach and he does all his work during the week. He was disappointed about that, as he should have been. They're a super side. They played this afternoon. Acker, you played his side in round 16. It was level at half-time. Yep. They blew away by 61, and afterwards you intimated that you thought the Cats may have been arrogant.
Intimated, or since then, or after the game? Well, certainly since then. Something I heard in the last quarter made it very interesting, and I've never heard a player ever say that on the field, that, you know, here we go, boys, we're going to win another one. We beat these guys. There's another challenger. We're going to win another flag. And I thought that was the most odd thing to say in the sense of the context of what was about to happen, and clearly very confident.
Who said it, Acker, and at what stage?
Oh, Scala said it, and certainly in the last quarter when they were getting on top. They play that ground so well, and they really did do a number on us in the fourth quarter.
Surely you had someone at Brisbane that was a little bit cocky, Martin Pike or someone.
Maybe. Certainly, I don't doubt that we're a confident group, but to say those things just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
You don't care, Acker, do you, about what people say in response to what you say? I'm not going to go on what you're saying. You heard, and
but I said what I said. I said what I said on the week that we were going to play them in a prelim, and then he says nothing, and then he says something this week. You know, you want to be a footballer, you want to have some nuts. You say it on the week that it happens.
We needed you to say it too. I mean, the footy's been great this year. There hasn't been a lot of off-field, and so I thought it would just help with the build-up. That's what we need more of, mate.
One of the stories that we loved there was the round 17 grand final preview. We'll get onto that in a minute. After the break, we look at the last quarter of the season and some of this year's footy bloopers.
We've been waiting a long time. The moment has arrived.
Third snaps. James Hurd bends it back for the moment. I think he's started the run. He has. Here's a goal for Buick. And he loved that. Now they're on fire.
Alessio and Simmons. Simmons. Gee whiz. That's ridiculous. And they have won their 16th premiership. And is there a better story than James Hurd? This is the best season we've ever seen.
Chaplin, Roden, kicks it around the body. What's he doing? He's going the other way. How can you not know which way you're going and then celebrate it when you actually slot it at the other end?
Why would you do that? Daniel Motlop has tried to intercept the bounce as it comes off the ground.
He's got a pretty accurate kick. Wow.
Pretty ordinary in the old jock get days.
Surely not.
Oh, that's selfish.
He might be the first player in the history of the game to have a header before he has a kick.
Oh, that's out in the full. The circus has come to town and it's Corey Jones.
How did he manage to not kick this?
We got a draw.
What is the matter with our players?
Short to Murphy. And he has missed from there, surely not. Murphy must be the most embarrassing moment of his career.
Welcome back to the greatest sporting coliseum in the planet. The under-16s are playing. For those that are interested, it's 8-7-55 Northern Territory to 11-3-69 Tasmania. At this stage are going beautifully. Welcome back to Game Day. Ox, some of the great bloopers are there. You would never have made a blooper in your career.
No, not at all.
Other than wearing the headband.
I thought it was going to be the Ox's bloopers from the show.
Hey, he's up. David Roden, point of the year, no doubt about it. But that, I can't understand how you can celebrate a win when you've actually drawn the game. How can you not know the scoreboard?
Yeah, interesting.
Absolute
Who doesn't look at the scoreboard?
Boys, after round 17, grand final preview, the last quarter of the year saw the race for fourth spot, and Buddy head towards the ton.
Round 18, Collingwood takes a hit, but the real damage is done by Heath Shaw and the irrepressible Alan Didak.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
It's a big week in football.
We've had enough. The public have had enough of this situation. No more.
The naughty boys are boxed away a week later when the Pies turn everything around against the Saints.
Touch and wait for it,
And here's something, wink wink, you only see in Queensland. Could Batman be a surprise addition to the Lions match committee? Meanwhile at Windy Hill, holy high marks, Batman. It's the renaissance of Matthew Lloyd.
Vintage Matthew Lloyd, back to his best.
Footy's 150th is a hoop for Melbourne.
Geelong 8-5, Melbourne, nothing.
And the curtain raiser isn't much fun either. The Lions bandwagon gets bigger in round 20, and the Saints are starting to play like rock stars. As the Pies struggle to field their best 18, Mick Malthouse enthralls correspondents with his dream attack.
Draw a little oval. Go on. Big enough to put some names in.
Secretly, though, the Magpies unearth another Brian Strawn. And in case the new Strawny gets a big head, Malthouse immediately imposes a media ban. It's the pointy end of the season, and of Ty Connelly's shoulder. Michael Braun bows out, the Kangas flop on Shannon Grant's 300th, and Acker has every reason to complain.
Jason Ackermanis has pushed that through with his hand.
The home and away season finishes with a bang. The fun spills over as Buddy tops the ton. This punter gets his moment, and footy's Maxwell Smart is stuck on 99. A day later, Lee Matthews resigns, and Michael Voss takes over. To the Batmobile, Robin.
Some huge stories coming from round 18 through to 22, and I assume, Robbo, from a journo's point of view, there was no bigger than Piegate.
No, that was the biggest story. Heathshaw, Alan Didak. I mean, the culture got so bad at Collingwood that they just couldn't suspend him for 2 weeks and say come back. They had to send him away for the rest of the year, and as a consequence, Collingwood, they went pretty deep into September, and they could have done with both of them, but there's no doubt that was the big talking point in the second half of the year.
Acker, the Saints had a huge last 4 games. They were chasing 4th spot. They fell in like Stephen Bradbury in halves. He was saying farewell.
They did. Oh, it was unbelievable. You would be filthy if you're Adelaide, who had the double chance, and then they just fell over in the last round, I should say. Now, Harvey, of course, said it's enough. Enough's enough. 383 games. He was old when I come in, and he's still going. I tell you, it's just a phenomenal effort. We love halves. He's a ripper, but it's just been an amazing year. The Saints get the double chance, couldn't quite make it, but Ross Lyon, I think, wouldn't be too displeased. They won the pre-season cup. Hasn't been that bad a year for the Saints.
Yeah, it hasn't. And Buddy, the new rock star of the AFL, he and Fev shot it out at the Dome, round 22, Ox for the ton.
Well, we talk about tough tickets to get. That game was built up as one of the greats. Could have been the first time in history that 2 players kick 100. Fev's kicked 7 in the second half. Buddy's been taken off the ground, came back on. That game was full of atmosphere, and we saw a star emerge, and possibly Brendan Favola, the unluckiest footballer, not to get 100 but to get 99.
There's never been a bigger excitement in a game with a 60-point flogging.
Robbo,
the biggest thing to come out. Lethal Matthews at the end of round 22 said, enough's enough. Within about 36 minutes, Voss signs up and Brown is there for life. Big story?
That was the biggest football story of the year. I mean, the non-football was the Piegate, but Lee Matthews, the legend of the game, announcing his retirement. There'd been a few mumblings around that maybe the players hadn't come out in support of Lee Matthews. Acker,
yeah,
it was your old club, pal. Did we hear the full story?
I don't think we did. Something smells a little funny. I thought it was quite quick.
It's probably Robbo.
It was Robbo at that stage, but then, you know, just the quickness and how it all happened with Michael and, of course, Jonathan Brown saying I'm staying when for pretty much up to that day.
Oh, but he came out and was
well, he said
truthfully.
that, but there was a lot of guys who said that. A lot of people saying that day it wasn't a done deal and he hadn't made the decision just yet.
Boys, big story's going to unfold this afternoon. We've got Ben Cousins coming up, but also it's the grand final, and it's going to be one of the 2 teams getting up and making supporters very happy. The Ch7 Sports Store is giving you the chance to purchase a special piece of 2008 Premiership memorabilia immediately after the game. The AFL Premiership Panoramic will be produced. It's a magnificent photographic print taken at the MCG as the final siren sounds. Limited to only 1,000. The panoramic graphic will be personally signed by the winning team's captain and comes complete with a certificate of authenticity from the AFL. Go to 7sportstore.com.au or call 1800 88 992 straight after the game to secure one of the 1,000 wonderful pieces of history. Boys, we're going to take a break. Still to come, Ben Cousins, and after this, we cross out to the very glamorous Rebecca Madden, who's got Paul Lucuria who's Dancing with the Stars.
Hereby declare the winner of the NAB Rising Star to receive the Ron Evans Medal, Reece Palmer of the Fremantle Football.
Comes across towards Palmer, and Palmer kicks a remarkable goal.
You know, very quickly became our best midfielder, which was remarkable for a first-year player.
Really honoured to win this award, especially with all the great players who previously won it. So, just really happy.
Welcome back to the MCG. As you can see, a beautiful day for football. It's currently 20 degrees. The under-16s are playing. Northern Territory 8-8-56. Trail Tasmania 12-4-76. A 20-point difference at this point. And one of the most impressive players to play at all this year was Reece Palmer.
Thanks,
20 of 22 games that he could have played in his first year, and he won the NAB Rising Star. Reece, congratulations. Welcome to Game Day.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Good to be a part of it.
Of course it is.
You can't have imagined your season would have gone quite so beautifully, and you've won the NAB Rising Star. You've joined elite company, 4 Brownlow medals from Buckley Cousins, who's on the show later, and Adam Goods. 6 players have gone on to win grand finals. 2 are playing today. It must be a bit surreal.
Yeah, look, at the start of the year, if you told me I was going to play 5 games, I would have been happy with that. But to come out and play a few more than that, and to have a bit of a role in my team, I've been really impressed with.
You must. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's terrific. I didn't believe it," but deep down, you're a freakish player. You got a lot of the ball. Were you confident you could make it at the AFL level when you did the pre-season this year?
Obviously, I had hopes that I could, and the boys gave me lots of confidence that I could just go out there and play my game, and it started, got a few games under my belt and it was going all right.
Reece, you've been over here for the for NAB and doing all the grand final week. Did you realise how big grand final week was until you actually got over here and you're right in the inner sanctum of it?
Yeah, no way. I came over last year, but I got here Friday night, so I missed the whole week coming up to it. But to come here Monday and watch all the festivities and be part of the parade it's an amazing week here.
Now, Reece, Ox and I are wrapped because you're in our super coach team and you've just point after point this year.
So I
want to ask, mate, terrific talent. A lot of things are going to get better, your decision making, but as your kicking is probably the one deficiency I see in your game. Is that something that you think in this pre-season I'm going to get that right?
Yeah, for sure. We've got Mickey Pry down at the club who I've been working closely with, and I'm going to work real closely with over the summer, and hopefully make it one of my strengths.
Reece, you guys played Geelong during the year. It was one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year. It was a tough game.
Should have won it.
You got up by whatever, you got up 5-6 goals, and then they manned their comeback. Tell us about this Geelong midfield. I mean, you were probably daunted by it going into the season, and you had it first up that night.
Had it on toast.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, Geelong are just so strong. You take down Gary Ablett, you stop Jimmy Bartell, and then someone else creeps up, and I think Joel Selwood crept up that night and absolutely killed us, so I think that's why they're so strong.
Did you actually ever get a chance? I know you're a young fella and it's a professional game. Did you actually get a chance this year to think, God, I'm going up against Gazza, I'm up against Shane Crawford, I'm up against some of the biggest names that are playing AFL?
Yeah, I think after the game you sort of look back and you just go, shit, that's who I played against. But during the game you got no time to stop and think or have a break.
Just be natural.
Who was the one player that you came up against you thought, wow, he works harder than I ever thought, and he's actually a lot bigger and stronger than I ever imagined?
There's been a few, but every team has their players. But Chance Bateman, I remember running alongside him, and he just keeps going. And even Gary Ablett, just his strength, and there's a few boys. Every team has their great players, and yeah, that's good to watch.
I think Sel was an interesting one. Saw him on the weekend on last Friday. He's sort of getting the 5th tagger, so he's just getting under the guard. He will be a ripper today. Now, mate, I got to ask you, Ox and I know that you become an AFL player and all of a sudden the people around you get far more attractive. Has it actually worked for you, mate? The NAB Rising Star, is it helping you with your love life?
No, I haven't even been home yet to go out and
That's how successful it's been. He's been out every night since. Hey, boys, stay with us, Reece. We're going to cross out to Rebecca Madden and Dale Lewis. They've got a star from the 2002 3 grand finals in Paul Lecure, who's starring on Dancing with the Stars with Charlie Delaney.
We certainly do. Thanks very much, Hamish. Well, Dale was actually just lining up getting me some donuts because that's one great thing about coming to the MCG. The donuts, isn't it, Dale?
It is. They are fantastic. And you could have saved me one.
I did half a dozen very quickly. And, of course, we do have, and in that line for the donuts, we found, no, we didn't, because you wouldn't be eating donuts, would you, Paul Lecure?
Not at this stage, no.
Hey, how's Dancing with the Stars going?
It's really well. You know, it's something that it's been really enjoyable, and it's just a lot of fun. And the best thing about it is that we're actually learning to dance, which is great.
Are you having withdrawals coming here today? How are you feeling?
I am a bit. I was just saying to Dale that I'd love to just go into the change rooms and smell that liniment again and maybe perhaps get a massage, which is what I actually need at the moment.
You know, I think there's actually a few people behind us that would volunteer to give you a massage, Paul.
Now, Licker, look, one thing I did have to ask, the pants that you wear on Dancing with the Stars, awfully tight.
Look, they are a little bit tight, Booger, but if I was you, I wouldn't say too much, mate, because last night I watched the replay of the 96 grand final.
Yes.
I could not believe I saw Dale Lewis kicking out of the full back line. He had the tightest shorts, tighter than Warwick Kappa.
Tighter than your pants.
With the long locks. So it was, and he had that Buddy Franklin strut going as well, walking into the square.
Yeah, it's a shame I'm not half as good as he was, I tell you, my God.
And the hair was outrageous, wasn't it?
Hasn't it dated in 12 years?
I can't believe that.
Charlie Delaney, I want to say this straight off the top, has there ever been a bigger transformation in television from entertaining the kids to sex goddess on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, you're beautiful. A man after my own heart. It has been a transformation.
He is after your heart, trust me. He is after your heart.
You know what? I'm having so much fun dancing, and it really is so different, and the dancers are quite passionate, and, you know, I'm just having fun exploring all sides of it. It's awesome.
The dads of Australia would like to thank you for making Sunday nights so much fun, once again.
You're making me uncomfortable, so I'm just going to say what a gorgeous day it is, and what an epic grand final day. Yes.
Now, tomorrow night, it's going to get pretty hot and heavy because you're doing tango, salsa.
I am doing the Argentinian tango.
Right, you're doing the tango.
And I'm doing salsa.
Right,
Yes.
so what's in store? What are the outfits tomorrow night? Can you give us a little
who
hint?
knows? Is there an outfit?
There is no outfit.
Somewhere?
That's right. We've got the gorgeous Valerie who designs our costumes, and her team. And if it's up to Val, we wouldn't be wearing much at all. I think she's trying to get the gear off.
And that's a shame for us women, isn't it, that you don't have much to wear?
Paul, what's harder, lining up for the grand final or doing your first day on Dancing with the Stars? What's more nerve-wracking?
It has to be the first day of Dancing with the Stars.
Really?
I think with footy, we're well prepared and we know exactly what we're doing and we feel we're in our comfort zone. But with the dancing, it was very intimidating. But it was good to get the first week out of the way, and now we can enjoy hopefully the rest of the series.
All right, before we send you back off to practice, because that's where you're going right now, who are you tipping today for the big one?
I'm absolutely going the Hawks. I'm a Swans girl, but I gave up on that early on in the season.
When you watched him play.
Yeah, basically. So I'm a Hawks. So you know what? I think that if the Cats have an okay day and the Hawks have their best, they can do it.
All right, we've got one Hawk. Paul?
I'm going to go for the Hawks, mate.
Oh.
I'd like to see Croft get up and win today. It's such an emotional day for everyone, but I think Geelong won last year. Sorry, Beck.
Share it around, you reckon?
I'm hoping the Hawks can get up and win today.
Right, well, what the hell would Paul Lecure know?
Nothing.
Hamish, thanks very much. We'll see you very shortly.
Thanks, Beck. Some serious glamour on the couches there in the live site. Paul Lecure, probably the most glamorous of all. Reece, thanks for coming in. A wonderful season. I hope it just gets better, and Freo playing here in a few years' time.
Yeah, no, it would be good to be a part of this week and hopefully have a win.
Who are you tipping?
I'd like to see Hawks win, but I think Geelong will be too strong.
Boys, he wasn't even born the last time. No, you were. You're born in the year 1989. He was 7 months old watching this game. Ox, Akron, Robbo, thanks very much for coming in. Been great to have your company.
Got to get off with this, son. I look like Ricky O very shortly.
Yes, you'll see me soon. I'm in the AFL sprint, so look out.
Good luck with the call this afternoon, Ox. After the break, 5 premierships and a Brownlow medal arrive with the next panel as we talk about grand final experiences.
These guys have come from all over Australia, and do you reckon they're excited? Are you excited?
Yes!
They're the kids from Auskick who've been chosen to present the medals to the grand final winners. Now, Daniel here, where are you from?
Perth.
And is this going to be a big day in your life?
Yeah.
It is. And Christine, tell us where you're from.
Melville Island.
Melville Island. Who do you barrack for?
Ackermanis and Adam Cooney.
Say that again.
Ackermanis and Adam Cooney.
Ackermanis and Adam Cooney. You're like the Brownlow medalist. Now, these guys had to send in a little form, 25 words or less. Chloe, would you like to tell us the poem that you sent in?
Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Doesn't matter if you're girl or boy. Being in a team is really cool. Girls in Auskick absolutely rule.
Well done, Chloe. Guys, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
It's a great feel here. It's real expectations, and you've got a lot of history to live up to.
And we want to kind of build our own history here. And
the history and success that we've had in the past, and just to be a part of that at the moment is a real privilege.
Love the club, and hopefully, you know, we can salute and win them the 10th flag.
We're back on game day, and just like that, 5 premierships, a Brownlow medal and 12 All-Australian selections drop in. I'm surrounded officially by AFL royalty. Very good morning to premiership player Anthony Koutafidis.
Hamish, how are you, mate?
Mate, unbelievable. You've played here before, 95, walked down the race and got a bag full of cash from Jack Elliott. Made the number 43 sexy for the Blues. It's a pretty exciting time.
Well, the cash doesn't happen anymore, Hamish, as we know. A few years ago, we got caught doing those sort of things. But no, it was a great day. It was a day, look, I was 22 years of age then, almost really took it for granted. But, you know, you're so proud to be running out there with your teammates who you really have confidence with that day, and you do have to do that, you know, on a grand final day. You have to have the belief in your teammates, and we did that day.
Roo, a superstar of the game. Great to have you here. Won premiership in 98, a Brownlow medal. And this week, for you, you've experienced it so often, and might be a bit of a hard one not playing and not having a medal dangling around the neck.
Oh, look, it's great to be. It's going to be a fantastic day, and certainly winning premierships is what it's all about, and I was very lucky to win one after missing out the year before.
First year out of the game, how's it feeling to be in September without any role to play other than sort of the corporate television media mogul?
Yeah, I hadn't been in the granny since we played in 98, so I was a bit unlucky there, got knocked out in the prelims a few times, but it's just a great week to be in Melbourne, and certainly having a bit of fun, and really looking forward to today's game. Should be a ripper.
Well, great to have you on the show, and as always, triple premiership bomber, the Seven's favourite, Tim Watson. Great to have you here.
Good to see you, Hamish.
84, 85, 93, just sort of like shelling peas for you the last Saturday in September.
I'm glad you just went through the victories, Hamish, because I've forgotten the other ones that we actually didn't win. This is 1984, of course, our first victory against Hawthorn, and that's the victory dance that you look back and you get a little bit embarrassed about. But at the time, you just sort of do whatever comes natural, and that felt natural then. You told me you couldn't dance, Tim. That's all right. Yeah, I've never been considered for Dancing with the Stars.
There could be a future there, I think.
Well, there might be. I'll tell you, I just said to the boys before, Hamish, that if Shane Crawford gets across the line today, we know that he loves to hog the limelight from time to time. There could be something special happens here at the MCG today as part of a celebration. He's had a very emotional week, hasn't he, Crawford? From last week, it's been a big build-up for him.
It's a fairy tale, though, after so long to get out there in the grand final and have a real crack at it today.
Yeah.
Well, boys, we're in the greatest sporting coliseum in the world, and one man who starred, absolutely took it to pieces, is joining Beck Madden and Dale Lewis now out in the live site. It is Steve Hooker, and he's joined by David Colbert, who he nailed the commentary there too. Beck, Dale, let's hear what the gold medalist has got to say.
You certainly did nail the commentary, Dave Colbert, and of course we are joined by the flying rocket man himself, Steve Hooker. So great to have you here at the MCG today.
Thanks for having me. I'm not sure about the nickname though, Colbert.
Sorry, the best I could come up with under pressure.
Now, Steve, I'm going to start the clap.
All right.
Because I hear that's how you athletes perform best under pressure, with the background clap. So I'll start the slow hand clap. Just ignore it as you start talking, OK?
Yeah, just a little bit of rhythm would help, definitely.
Yeah, you can't answer any questions, can you? Over the head. Do you like that, actually? When
I'm not a big clapper. Every now, like if the competition's over, I had one go at it on my first attempt at the Olympic record in Beijing, but generally I'll steer clear of the clap and I'll just try and go under the radar a little bit out there.
Now, the big question is, have you bought your coach a pair of shoes?
My coach is still absent from the country. He's still in Russia. He's gone back there to see his family back in Moscow, so he's been away. He hasn't been sighted since the night.
Wow. Now, it's an amazing day. You've jumped in front of 86,000 people here at the MCG, so this is going to be nothing for you today in the motorcade.
Yeah, it should be a piece of cake. All I have to do is sort of wave my hand a little bit today and not fall off the back of a car, which, you know, has proven difficult in the past, but today I think I've got it nailed.
Hey, Dave, what was this bloke like? I mean, it was such an amazing event, wasn't it? I mean, it was, you know, third attempt on so many tries. How nail-biting was it?
Oh, it's horrendous from the qualifying round onwards, and I've known him since he was 15 when he first started, so to have that connection, and his mum competed in the long jump for Australia at the Olympic Games like I did, and so with all of that combined, each time you were sort of riding every jump, and every time he took off we were riding it, and you talk about clapping in the commentary box or clapping on the stadium. I was really lucky that Bruce was actually clapping along for me while we were up there, so that worked really well. And then when he took off on that final jump and you knew that he was the Olympic champion, it's actually really hard when you know somebody so well and the emotion is there, and I did get just a little bit excited about it because it's so close. It's a really tough, it's tough when you're commentating like that, not as tough as what Steve's doing, but
no, perhaps not quite as tough.
To call an Australian track and field gold medal, it doesn't happen very often. We don't win very many of them, and when it's someone that you know so well, it was just a massive thrill. Yeah.
Now, Steve, your hair has become a trademark. Are you going to cut it now or not?
Well, I've actually had a little bit of a trim since I've been back in Australia.
Seriously?
Yeah. It was pretty wild in Beijing, so I needed to just get a little bit of a trim. There was some sort of dreadlocks forming at the back, which needed to get cut out. The personal hygiene's obviously not up to scratch.
And, mate, finally, how many times have you been stopped and someone said, hey, Lingy, good luck today?
I've had it about 20 times since I've walked around the G, but I'm sure I'll have it another 50 before the day's over.
All right, one word. We need a winner for today. Dave?
Well, Peter Burge is one of the fitness staff at Hawthorn.
That's
He was
not
an
one word,
Olympic
that's 25
long jump
words.
finalist, so I'm going for the Hawks. I don't think they can win, but I'm going for the Hawks.
Steve, you?
Yeah, Hawthorn. I think Geelong are probably the better team, but I like an underdog.
All right, there we go. Thank you very much. An Olympic gold medalist here at the MCG, Hamish.
Thanks, Beck. Nice to have Cameron Link, Steve Hooker and Dave Colbert there with you guys. The Bird's Nest, what a sensational night. After the break, the panel chat with the head honcho of the AFL, Andrew Demetrio. He's next.
As always, the men in green, red, yellow and orange were hard to miss.
I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Oh, you know, that's okay, Paul. Get up, Paul. There wasn't much in that, mate.
He's on top of it, umpire Mark Getz.
Yep, the umpires were on top of it. Most of the time.
How about poor old Chelsea? He just sits on her head.
The flag wavers were in the firing line.
He's just got to get to this. He's just got to get the boot. He's got to get to the side. Got to get out of the way a little bit.
And the whistleblowers weren't spared. But it doesn't pay to make an umpy grumpy.
Give it to Jason Blake. Give it to Jason Blake. Give it to Jason Blake.
50. Has anyone got any idea what's going on?
So just smile, stay out of their way. And whatever you do, don't answer back.
Frame, but
don't call me a disgrace. I pay free kicks.
Generous,
you
50.
pay footy. Enough. We've had enough.
Hey, do that brand new thing.
It's an amazing feeling, but then once you run out, I remember feeling like the banner was about 400 metres away, but it was very close. But you come out and it's just that noise is just an amazing feeling, and you can't hear anyone around you, so it's quite exciting. It gives you goosebumps just like now. Thinking about it, it's a fantastic feeling.
Welcome back to the MCG, where the ground is starting to fill, and it's a privilege to have the man that's running the healthiest football code on the planet with us now, AFL CEO Andrew Demetrio. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Hamish.
In keeping with the style of the week, I'll start with my second question first, if that's okay.
Yes.
We're aware there's a new nasal spray that's come out on the market?
Is there?
There is. It's for premature vote counting.
Yes, well, I need some of it, actually.
It's been a remarkable season, 150th year. Everything is by numbers in record territory. What's the biggest concern or biggest challenge for you guys as we look forward?
Oh, well, I think we've always said that, one of the great things about the AFL industry and the competition is it's a code that's never standing still, and I think,
if you look at the progress over the whole 150 years, it's about moving forward and moving on. And I guess this year we announced our expansion plans into the Gold Coast and have a second team in Sydney. And without doubt, that'll be the greatest challenge that we've ever faced. So that's occupying a lot of our time, Hamish. We're doing a lot of work on it. And, you know, in 2011, we'll have a team on the Gold Coast. In 2012, a team into Sydney.
One of our guests today is Ben Cousins. He's dropping in a little later, and we're going to be talking to him about where he's at in his life. What will he need to do to prove to the AFL that he's healthy and fit to play?
Well, he'll have to decide that he wants to play first of all and nominate, and I dare say you'll hear more about that when he speaks. So I won't steal his thunder there. But you know, thereafter there is a process that's being managed by Adrian Anderson in our football operations department. He's liaising with the AFL medical officers. They are obviously in contact with you know, all the physicians that have been dealing with Ben, and all that information will be collected, and you know, they'll provide a report, and at a point in time the Commission will hear his submission, and at that point in time that's when a decision will be taken. So
Ben now knows, the AFL's told Ben?
No, well, as I said, Hamish, he'll talk a little later. He'll talk a little later, and then you know, from there is a process in place, but it's a process that I'm not involved in because I will sit on the Commission at a point in time to decide, and it's being handled by Adrian Anderson.
Andrew, you must be rapt to see Geelong and Hawthorn in the grand final. It wasn't too many years ago. They were struggling both on the field and off the field. It's been a massive turnaround for both clubs.
Yeah, Mark, I think when you consider that, you know, particularly this decade, it's been dominated by the non-Victorian teams, with Brisbane winning 3 premierships from Port Adelaide and Swans and West Coast. And just in the last 18 months, we've seen the Victorian teams really turn things around. They've increased great crowds, and the 2 best teams are playing off today. I mean, they've been the dominant teams all year. I think we all waited for round 17, which was a great game to anticipate. And now they're playing off, and I think it just vindicates the competition that, you know, the top 4 teams played off, the top 2 teams are playing off. It's great.
Yep. The other pleasing thing, Andrew, I watched you this morning at the North Melbourne breakfast. The crowds this year, record crowds once again, which has got to be pleasing for the AFL.
Yeah, Anthony, I mean, really, it's been a hard year for people. I mean, when you consider things like petrol prices and the economy, I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that, you know, people are watching what they spend. But, you know, thankfully our supporters who have been incredible for our game, you know, they've come out in droves this year. We
just keep going, okay.
We broke the all-time attendance record for the home and away, and today we'll go through 7.1 million people with the grand final crowd, which is a record for the season, and you know, that's incredible.
Andrew, what do you get excited about when you arrive here at the MCG on grand final day?
Tim, the whole week is a fantastic week in Melbourne, regardless of who's playing. This week it's a different buzz because there's 2 Victorian teams, and you know, I walked through the parade yesterday. I walked down from Collins Street all the way to Crown Casino to a function, and to see the people there and the families and the kids and the cross-section of people was amazing. And you know, when you come along today and for some reason we've turned on 28 degrees, it's a real buzz. And you walk into the MCG, you know, one of the great sporting grounds of the world, see it start to fill up, the whole activity around Melbourne, it's a buzz, and you can't help but feel really privileged and honoured to be in the game because it means so much to so many people.
Pre-game entertainment, do you sit there with your fingers crossed, just making sure or hoping that everything just goes according to plan, that somebody presses the right button when we play the national anthem and all those sorts of things?
Look, there's a couple of things I'll say. The first thing is I think it'll go off according to plan, and second thing I know is that we'll get absolutely bagged on Monday. Or maybe even tomorrow in the papers. But look, I think we've got something special this year. I don't think the Beijing opening ceremony's got anything on the plan, honestly.
Andrew, before we let you go to all of your functions, what result are you looking for today from an AFL perspective?
I'll tell you what,
I think we're live here.
If Gillen and Ian Anderson have got any way, if we have a draw, it's worth about $12 million, Hamish, so we could do it all again and come back next week.
Well, thank you for your time today. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Hamish. All the best.
During the week, there's been a Garnier competition throughout the season, and one very lucky winner in Jason McGilvray from Lara in Victoria has won the prize. He's had a big week, 2 nights accommodation, 4 tickets to the breakfast this morning thanks to TAB Sportsbet, 4 tickets to the Toyota AFL Grand Final, and $2,000 spending money. He might just put it on the draw if Andrew's got anything to do with it. It's a big week in Melbourne, as Andrew said. There he is on the way to the breakfast this morning. Plenty to come. Grand final entertainment is huge this weekend. Bernard Fang going to be talking to us a little later on. Plenty more to come, including Daniel Kerr after the break.
Sets it up to the middle. Oh, he's done Thomas!
Oh, man by Shaw.
Drops it to the wing. He's done right up. On the other side. Prevails, Rioli.
Lenny Hayes, long ball, looks for Fiora!
Inside from joined up Lindsay Thomas. Davey needs to charge. One of the runs of the year.
With Thomas sets himself! Dale Thomas!
Big leap. As Brown kicks beyond the wing. Ryder did exactly that. Williams the man to go to this time. And unbelievable mark.
Standing firm.
Bronze Buchanan.
Takes the best of many great runs tonight. Medhurst again, he's on fire.
Stands and delivers to the square. Lloyd! Matthew Lloyd! That's a car.
Welcome back to the grand final edition of Game Day live from the MCG. Joining us now is a Premiership Eagle and the man that's making plenty of headlines around Australia as to where he's going to be playing. Daniel Kerr, good morning.
Good morning, guys. You knew I was on and you didn't put my mark on. I'm spewing.
Well, you shouldn't be spewing because when you take a grab as big as you did this year, you get your own segment. This is you taking one of the great grabs of the season. Just talk us through. Boom, over the top. That was the G, wasn't it?
It was Telstra Dome. It was actually a couple of seasons ago, but I'm still saying it was last season.
Live off that as long as you can. Now, I want to ask you one thing. You got an aversion to winning Brownlow medals?
No, not at all. I just have brain freezes throughout years, and they've been pretty costly.
Well, your rap sheet sort of rivals Al Capone. 11 tribunals, 11 matches. You've been ineligible 05, 06, 07, and no one in the AFL has got more Brownlow votes in the last season than you. Last 3 seasons than you.
Yeah, obviously it's not something I'm proud of, but I suppose it saves me money on buying my girlfriend a dress, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The one question that Australia wants to know is what bird are you going to be next year? An eagle, a swan, or a magpie?
Well, at the minute, I'm contracted to the Eagles next year, and you know I'm planning to play out my contract. But if negotiations take place, which I think in the next couple of weeks they will, I'll look at what happens.
I think you've forgotten Carlton, though. Kerr, is there any chance?
Well, look, if things didn't work out with the Eagles, I think going and playing with my mate Chris would be fantastic.
I thought so.
How do you think Hawthorn will go today? Do you think they can win with a lot of young players in the side and not much experience in finals?
Yeah, I think they can. We went into a grand final a couple of years ago, our first grand final, and it is a very nerve-wracking experience. But I think the type of young players they have in Buddy Franklin and Chance Bateman, they have, that touch of arrogance in a good way about them, and I think that goes a long way in a grand final.
Yeah. You spoke about your old teammate in Chris Judd. Another old teammate in Ben Cousins. A lot of discussion at the moment about whether he comes back and plays. Where do you reckon he's at right now, Benny?
I think he really wants to come back and play. I haven't spoke to him, but from what I can gather from people around him and mates of his, I think he is really enjoying his time away and really pumped up to come back and play some good football.
Tough year for you guys this year at the Eagles. Where do you think the improvement's going to come from, these younger players that are coming up? And number 2, how did John Worsfold handle the year, considering his coaching record previously?
John handled the year pretty well. I mean, we lost 2 superstars. I think if Geelong lost Ablett and Bartel, they probably wouldn't be the same team they are. So we handled it pretty well. A lot of our senior guys were probably down on form, including myself. I didn't play enough football, and guys like Darren Glass, Adam Hunter and stuff like that probably didn't play as good a football as we have in previous years.
Kerry, one of the rumours coming out of the Eagles at the moment is that John Worsfold and Peter Sumich have said they want Ben Cousins to come back, they'd welcome back, and the players have changed their minds. Is that right? Because they said that is the view, but the board wouldn't allow it. Is that right?
I think if in a perfect world, I think the coaching staff and the players would love to have Ben back. He's probably one of the best players I've played against or played with. So from a playing point of view, I think we'd love to have him back. From a board's perspective, I think it would be tough to have him back.
You want him back?
I'd love to have him back, yeah.
And Kerry, what about the midfields today? I mean, you're one of the great midfielders of the competition. These two sides, they line up, and I think the game will be decided by which side can actually get on top in the midfield today. Which of these two sides do you favour, the Cats or the Hawks?
I favour the Cats. I'd like the Hawks to win, personally, but I just think the Cats are too strong through the middle, and I think they're too quick through the middle as well.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, I mean, you've played in grand finals before, what the day's like just for these younger guys coming in.
It's an amazing morning, more so than... Once you run out on the ground, it's fine. It's just the morning leading up in the hotel room and, you know, the breakfast and trying to get down the food. And I had a game routine where I used to travel over to Chris's room, which was next door to mine, and the morning of the grand final, we spent most of the room in the bathroom just going to the toilet because we were both so nervous.
Acker said it's the hardest meal of the year. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah. I didn't even eat on grand final time. That's how tough it is.
The hardest meal was one after losing it.
Yeah, that's a hard one to swallow. You're
That's
quite
a hard
right.
one to swallow.
The travel to come across it, you know, every second week and then finally the grand final, did you come here 2 days before?
Yeah, we started coming 2 days before, or a couple of years before we got into the grand final. So it's a similar routine. It's just a lot more nerve-wracking.
You got that naughty look about you, Daniel, and we keep hearing that you are a naughty boy over there in Western Australia. Are you prepared now? Do you reckon you're prepared to put all that behind you? Whatever's happened in the past, you're prepared to put that behind you?
Yeah, look, I've done some silly things, mostly alcohol-related. When I have a few too many beers, it seemed that, you know, I'd be having a few too many beers with 5 people and my head would get picked out of the 5. But, you know, you don't make excuses, and I think that time has passed. I mean, I kind of had to grow up in a small town in the media eye, and I came to the club when I was 17 and I'm 25 now, so you'd assume that anything past 25 you're an idiot. When you're anything under 25 you're just still young and dumb.
Kerry, stay with us. Time now to head out to a man that brings these big days to life. Sevens, Neil Kearney.
We are Geelong, we're always on the ball.
So, Sky, who would be your favourite player?
Chappie.
Chappie! You got a few Chappie badges there. Was you happy when Chappie got picked back in the team?
Yes.
How do you think his hamstring will go today?
Good.
You think it'll be good? So who do you think's going to win? I think that's an obvious, Sky.
I think Cats.
Cats, do you? Do you know all the song?
Yes.
We'll keep singing, Sky.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game like it should be played. Hey, at home or far away, the battle high.
Well, Kerry, 150-odd games into your career. Where do you want to finish? You happy to just re-sign with the Eagles and stay there till you're sort of 45 playing good football in the middle?
Yeah, look, I'd love an 11-year deal and play till I'm 37 in an ideal world, but we'll see what happens.
Great to have you on Game Day. All for Eagles fans will be hoping that's exactly what happens.
Thanks very much.
Still to come on Game Day, Ben Cousins, Ty Kennelly and Mark Williams, and after the break, we talk Norm Smith medals.
I went to it. I know it was a great game. The result wasn't exactly what I wanted.
That's probably the grand final that everyone talks about as probably being the best of all time.
The greatest grand final of all time. And
tough, hard, good skills, plenty of gun players.
That's how footy should be played.
Premiership Cup there being looked at by thousands of spectators at Federation Square. 2 teams will be going hard at it this afternoon, try and win the right to be the premiers for 2008. Welcome back to a sensational day for football at the MCG. Well, boys, the biggest day of the year. Biggest stage is set and only the best footballers end up winning the Norm Smith medal. Let's have a look over the years of who's done it and made the grand final day their own.
The player judged best of field in today's grand final will be awarded the Norm Smith medal. Norm Smith played in or coached 10 premierships for Melbourne between 1935 and 1964 and is an official legend of Australian football. The medal was first awarded in 1979 to Wayne Harms.
The VFL have instituted this medal in the memory of the late Norm Smith.
1980, Kevin Bartlett.
The Bartlett looks dangerous on the boundary line. A goal coming up. It's a goal.
81, Bruce Gould.
And he's my choice for best on the ground at the moment. He hasn't got a foot wrong, Gould.
The medal goes to Bruce Gould.
82, Maurice Rioli.
Beautifully ducked away around 2 players.
Colin Robertson of Hawthorn wins the Norm Smith medal.
The winner of the Norm Smith medal.
Billy Duckworth.
The ball
85, Simon Madden.
That's Madden. Oh, right over the top of deep here a minute ago.
Hawthorns, Gary Ayres. 87, David Rees-Jones. 88, Gary Ayres.
The pocket. Ablett. Oh, what a mark. Gary Ablett has won it.
The winner of the Norm Smith medal, surprisingly, Tony Shaw. By unanimous decision, Paul Deere of Hawthorn.
92, Peter Matera.
Matera, probably the favourite for the Norm Smith medal.
93, Michael Long. 94, Dean Kemp. 95, Greg Williams. 96, Glenn Archer.
Archer getting back.
The winner of the Norm Smith medal for 1997 is Andrew McLeod of the Adelaide Crows.
98, Andrew McLeod.
McLeod will go again. He's dangerous.
99, Shannon Grant. In 2000, James Hird shrugged aside no less than 5 opponents to dominate the grand final.
Hird has done it again.
In 2001,
The winner of the Norm Smith medal today is Sean Hart of Brisbane.
Sean Hart was a 30-year-old veteran when his phenomenal work rate inspired the Brisbane Lions. In 2002, Nathan Buckley's drive in the midfield almost lifted Collingwood to an unlikely victory.
Commiserations to the Collingwood boys. The winner of the Norm Smith medal is Nathan Buckley of Collingwood.
In the 2003 Grand Final, Simon Black finished with a staggering 39 possessions. Byron Pickett won the medallion in 2004 for his daring runs and tough, no-nonsense style. In 2005, with 29 possessions in a losing side, Chris Judd was a standout in that dramatic final. In 2006, versatile wingman come forward Andrew Emley was there for the Eagles when it mattered most. In 2007, disciplined by his club early in the season, Steve Johnson provided a fairy tale ending with 4 goals and a pivotal role in the premiership.
Well, boys, the stage is set. It's the biggest football day in the world. Forget the Super Bowl, forget everything else. And out here, there's going to be 100,000 people going berserk. 44 players will be trying to live their dream. Norm Smith medal, who's the tip and why?
Well, for me personally, Gary Ablett Jr. You know, very special players. We know very hard to tag. On a day like this, he's going to be, you know, outstanding. You don't know which way they're going to go. Are they going to tag him, or do they get someone on him that can run off him?
His old man won in 89 in the losing side. Tim, only 3 have done it. Chris Judd, Nathan Buckley and Gary Ablett. It'd be romantic. Cyril Rioli's, both of his uncles have won it.
Well, he's bred for it, isn't he?
Very good breed. Very good breed.
Talk about a thoroughbred. It would be romantic if either of those two won.
Well, he's got the Rioli on his father's, on his father's side, and he's got the Long on his mother's side.
Yeah.
She, of course, is the sister of Michael Long, so he's bred for the MCG on Grand Final day.
You could see him kicking a little bag today.
You could a sneaky little forward, couldn't you?
Yeah, he has not been overawed at all in this final series, and the thing that I find more extraordinary about him is the fact, Roo, that he's a young kid playing his first season of AFL football. He hasn't put a foot wrong, and he hasn't had the peaks and troughs that a lot of other kids have.
He's been great. For that position, it's the hardest position on the ground to be consistent, and he's done it brilliantly, really.
Roo, you've seen one bloke perform on this stage better than anyone else. Andy McLeod won back-to-backs. Only Gary Ayres has won 2. Stevie Johnson's got that sort of aura about him where he might go back-to-back and become the 3rd ever to win 2.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a real good match-up for him today either. I think he could easily win it again. My tip is Ottens. I think he's good value. He's about 20 to 1, and he'll go forward and kick 3 or 4 today too, and if he does that, they'll win the game. And he's a big man, and I don't think Hawthorn's got anyone that can go with him deep in the forward line.
Let's have a look at the market as we're speaking about the Norm Smith. Tim, do you ever get close to winning one? Gary Ablett is at $5.50. Joel Selwood, $8.50, the rising star from last year. Last year's Brownlow medalist at $10. The 100-goal specialist, Lance Franklin. This is a ridiculous scenario. Have a look at this. Joel Corey, the All-Australian, the captain of the Hawks at $12. Brad Sewell, the in and under. Luke Hodge, Smokey at 14. Chance Bateman, Jordan Lewis, and Brad Ottens must be value because he's not on there, Roo.
Mate, he will be soon.
I think he's at $21.
Off his panel and have a crack. He'll be straight into about 4s, I reckon.
Tell you who the other one is. Chance Bateman. I think, Tim, he's the one. He's the outsider who could produce something special today. He's capable of doing something like that, and he's an outstanding player. Will he tag? Or will he just run free?
He'll tag Ablett. I think he'll tag Ablett, won't he?
Yeah, I reckon he'll tag Ablett. I reckon, looking down that list there too, Sammy Mitchell, and if he wins the Norm Smith medal today, I reckon we can safely say that Hawthorn will won the flag, because if they can't quell his dominance around the stoppages, then Geelong are in for a really long afternoon. Ling will go to him, I would think, Ruth.
Yeah, so I was just going to say Stevie Hooker will be hanging off his pants, I think, for most of the day. I can't see Mitchell winning it with Ling doing a good job on him.
Another romantic story, boys, this afternoon will be Shane Crawford. He's played 300 games. He's into his first grand final. It'll be terrific to see him have a big day.
What a remarkable story, though, really, with Crawford. He came to the club basically after that great area that Hawthorn had, you know, throughout the late 80s, early 90s. Unfortunately, for 17 years, he has not played in the grand final.
It is remarkable, isn't it? And I reckon the other thing about Crawford, he can actually get under your skirt a little bit now, because 5 years ago he would have been tagged. He won't get the tag today. He's going to be the bloke that's probably come off the interchange bench and find some space today. So expect him to actually be a feature of this game.
Yeah, he could have 30. He could be on Corey on the wing. They could say good luck and see at the end of the game.
Well, it's been a midfielder's medal. 17 of 29 have come out of the midfield. Only 4 have come from the forward line. Stevie J, who knows, Bradley Ottens may spend some time there. We're going to return when we come back. One of the game's most decorated players talks about a career that started 21 years ago and ended last Saturday evening on this very ground. The legend, Robert Harvey, is next.
Predict who'll be the next Norm Smith medal winner and go into the draw to win a Toyota TRD Orion, the most powerful Toyota ever, valued at over $55,000 and packed with features, including a supercharged 3.5-litre V6 engine, performance brake and suspension package, and a TRD body enhancement kit. SMS your name, state and the name who you think will win the 2008 Norm Smith medal to 1977 477. Toyota. Footy. Oh, what a feeling.
14 broke the banner into the 200 club, but just 7 had their day go to script. A loss for the Milestone men, but a win for teammates.
Tell you what, here he goes. Got a big Mackie underneath to pick it up. Those boys have got strong legs.
And Elite 6 cracked the 250 mark.
Up they come.
The Bowden banner didn't want to party, and it was a forgettable beginning for Boomer's big day.
He has no idea where he is.
But a finish to remember.
He centres it back.
4 favourite sons made it to 300.
76-point defeat.
The power spoiled the Shannon Grant celebration, but it was all smiles for Shane Crawford and Andrew McLeod.
He's just been unbelievable for the Adelaide Crows.
And could the smile be any bigger after Brad Johnson's dream day?
Johnson for the first kick, goal.
For some, the record-breaking had just begun.
First kick in league footy.
And it's Coxon with his first kick. Oh, welcome to the AFL.
But for one man, it was almost a case where every game was a milestone.
Only 2 men, Michael Tark and Kevin Bartlett, have played more games.
383 games, the final tally, when Robert Harvey said goodbye.
Give me a kiss. See you later.
Good luck, Dad. Good luck.
See ya.
Good luck, Daddy.
Some wonderful milestones have been achieved this year, and a man that has been a part of the fabric of both the VFL and the AFL for the last 21 seasons joins us now. Robert Harvey, great to have you on the show.
Yeah, good to be here. Looking forward to the game.
Now, I'm going to start with something that I need to read from because this is extraordinary. 21 seasons, 383 games, 3 decades, 4 best and fairest, 2 Brownlow medals, 8 All-Australians, 1 Michael Tuck medal, 3 E.J. Whitten medals, 0 suspensions, and the stat that I like, other than the last one the most, 173 players weren't even born when you played your first game. Would you take your CV if they said back in 1988, this is what's going to happen?
Yeah, and these boys would be the same. You don't expect to play one game, let alone all those games. And my old man back when I was 16 actually threw me in the car and forced me to go to St Kilda to even try out. So you know, to play 21 seasons, get this far is something I never expected. And yeah, one thing I would have loved to be is out here today and playing for a premiership. And I did a thing with Dipper before, and he's got 5 of them, and I just wouldn't mind sneaking one of those, you know.
One of the things, I read this book of yours during the week. It comes out next week. Tim, you got a copy and skimmed through it. 2 words: fear and addiction.
Yeah, fear and addiction, but I want to talk about crankiness, actually, because I reckon, Rob, towards the end of your career, you got very, very cranky, like an old man does occasionally. Now, a couple of weeks ago, on the MCG, on Sunday, at the end of the game, you and Matthew Scarlett had a little bit of a verbal altercation. Exactly what happened?
Well, look, exactly what happened I won't go into, but I go into in the book I talk about sledging a little bit, and that was we wrote that chapter, and about 2 weeks later it was involved with this thing with Scarlett, and it was a bit of a beat up. We had a bit of a run-in the third quarter, got a bit heated, and it was nothing major, just usual stuff, and tried to smooth it over after the game. It didn't quite go so well, and he didn't say a whole lot. It just was a bit unusual, that's all.
You say in the book, Harves, that sledging's a part of the game. You shouldn't microphone the players with umpires. If it's going to happen, and it should happen, you happy with that?
Yeah.
In all sports? Yeah,
it should be. And the problem is the microphones now, and look, in a lot of ways it's been great for for Channel 7 and the coverage is to get that insight, but it's pretty hard when emotions run high and you get into it.
Roo, you started 5 years after Harve started and finished a year before.
Yeah, no, I couldn't go the distance, but I used to love Tony Lockett and Gary Ablett. Who was your idol growing up, Harves?
Well, the great Tim Watson was the man.
Yeah. He did ask me to ask that question. So.
He build it up a bit, Harves.
Yeah, he was. Look, I was a mad Essendon supporter and used to go and watch the Bombers at Windy Hill every week and loved Timmy, and I sort of, unbeknownst to myself, started mimicking some of his stuff when I played, actually, and him and Simon Madden used to be my two idols. So
the only difference about that was that Harves actually mimicked the bit where I used to stop and actually have a bit of a breathe and put my hands on my hips. I actually did it because I couldn't keep going. He just did it because he was mimicking.
Now, Harves, you've achieved everything. We heard your list before, absolutely amazing, but the one regret do you think will be maybe not winning a premiership?
Oh, look, it's... And when you announce your retirement, all you do is look back. You start reflecting on your career, and the first thing you think of is missed opportunities and not being able to play in a premiership. And for 21 years, I've wondered what it'd be like, especially the celebration part of winning a premiership and how long you drink for with your mates and all that sort of stuff.
Have you stopped?
Yeah, I haven't stopped. And to not experience that, obviously. It'll be a regret to come to the MCG for the rest of my life, on grand final day.
Well, it is an addiction, really, because once you win the premiership, all of a sudden you want to do it again because you just have so much fun with your teammates. You work so hard with them, and finally you get the reward.
Talking about teammates, Cooter and Harves, this is some vision of you being chaired off after your last game, but then also when there was a guard of honour in your last home and away game, they must bring back some amazing memories, and people like Burke and Lowe and all the guys who you're standing next to. What's the greatest memory over the last 21 years?
I think, the memories that stand out, like, and as I said, you look back a lot when you retire, are big finals, and even though I haven't won a premiership, I've still managed to play in 17 finals games, and which is still a fair few games, and they're the ones that stand out, and especially 97 grand final, being here on the big stage was probably something to always remember.
It was just a quick one. When I walked off in the last game, I couldn't help myself that tears were coming down the cheeks. How'd you go, Jim? Did you hold them off or did you lose it?
I was okay on the ground, and then 6 weeks beforehand, I announced to the players, and I was that confident going in because everyone expected me to retire, and then I got up in front of the boys and I didn't get one word out. And then the same thing happened after the Hawthorn game. Went down the rooms and we. It's tradition now, the cameras sort of stay in for that speech thing, and lost the plot again there.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I was lucky enough to watch you play when I was in the under-19s, which was quite a while ago in the late 80s. But what's the biggest difference from when you started to now?
Well, the two differences are on the field and off the field. Off the field, I started with playing at Moorabbin and the Moorabbin Disco, and Tim would know the Moorabbin Disco.
Never heard of
it. We got much maligned for the Moorabbin Disco in the early days, and I think all clubs were like it. We probably should have pulled up by Tuesday, but it was big times. And on the field, obviously, it was very much kick to a pack, everyone get there, kick to the next pack, everyone get there, whereas now it's, find your target, real skillful running game.
We all know this bloke is probably one of the greatest players that's ever played the game. He's also a great bloke. My lasting memory of Rob probably will be, though, the fact that when I was at St Kilda for a couple of years coaching, and I'd be upstairs in my office, and all of a sudden I'd hear this thump, 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 thump on the player's day off. I'd go down there, and there'd be Rob on the running machine. He had it tuned up to as fast as it could possibly go, and he was just pounding the bloody thing. You're obsessive about training, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, and the wife's already given me a warning to keep that up for the next 5 years.
Are you going to run marathons?
I don't blow out.
Are you going to run marathons or anything like that?
Look, I wouldn't mind doing. I've got to do something competitive. So whether it's picking out a marathon, do that, or I don't know.
You're a very talented cricketer as a junior. You could have played state cricket. You go and win a premiership for some cricket club somewhere.
Yeah, I've got to win a premiership too somewhere. So
it's a breeding. And Neil Harvey sort of.
Yeah, Stewie Lowe's trying to get me down to play with him. He's still trying to hang on to his dream as well. And
play some touch footy on a Tuesday night. Buckley won a grand final this year.
I'm scared of Bucks.
Wakery needs a midfielder too, Harvey.
Yeah, premierships everywhere here. Roo won last weekend. But Harves, on behalf of everyone in the football community, particularly Channel 7, it's been a privilege watching you play for 21 years. There's no one we admire more, and we hope whatever you choose to do, it's a wonderful career.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Good on you. Hamish, also, congratulations on maintaining the same hairstyle for 22 years too. I reckon that's your greatest achievement.
Boys, thank you for coming on today. It's been great to have you all here.
Thanks,
enjoy the game.
Hamish.
Tim, great call this afternoon.
Thanks a lot. It's going to be a great day.
When we return on game day, a new panel comes in. Ben Cousins, Ty Connelly, the Irishman, if he can find his way here, and Mark Williams.
Sydney Swans ready to come out, ready to defend their championship.